Well, many, many, many different things and some very, very weird reality. Okay, so we go back to about 1700s, 1800s. A lot of stuff is happening. Technology is moving, exponential um, human growth all over the world. The Germans are taking part, the Russians are taking part, the Americans are taking part. It's this great, big, huge technology climb up. Okay, Jewish people and certain people, someone starts exterminating people after they do work, of course. Certain people are told that if they work hard, they will get a good life. Okay. Also, lots of children, thousands of children. Okay, so what you have is you have an atmosphere of hungry people moving out into the desert. People also thinking that if they can make any laws they want, if the people accept it, or if they have a bigger gun. Anyway, a lot of things. Like I said, it has to do with the CIA being involved in Germany, with the Germans. It has to do with this whole thing where we've come to technological climax, you might say, or at least a high technological point already, kind of, but a little bit. A lot of it was restricted, but then I let a lot of it out. So anyway, it has to do with a lot of things. White Star has to do with the feeding of thousands of people. About 3,000 or 4,000 years ago with the pyramids and a great civilization that was there. It has to do with me. It has to do with technology, how I'm inventing, how I'm ordering things to be made, how we're all basically one big happy family. Germans, French, Russians, Americans, we're all basically one big happy family about 1900 or so. 1700. We have jet engines, we have everything, just not that much of it in about like the year 1700. Okay, so then it has to do with me as a billion-year-old thing and America deciding, or at least a few people in America deciding that if they just kill me or remove me, then they can live forever and be gods themselves or something like that. Because they realize that it's technology. They realize that I'm just a trillion-year-old or billion-year-old life form that created the human race. And as such, I can be killed just like anybody else, technically, if they have enough technological power or can tell the future. It's the whole future. You tell the future you're the biggest organization or you're the leader of the biggest organization thing. So shredding of documents in Iraq, shredding of documents in Russia. One group is trying to find me to kill me because they know that with me out of the way, they can have whatever they want. Cars, women, drugs. They can live any life they want. They can have $100 a night meals, and so can their children. Okay, so it has to do with that. It also has to do with, like I say, in the Egyptian times, people are plowing fields. There's food like crazy. People are no longer suffering. Somewhere around 1200 on up to about 1800, massive farms, massive growth. Has to do with the Roman and creating corn and creating all kinds of different new foods. We're using technology. They do this for themselves. They do this for people. They do this for money. They do this for me. Mostly, a lot of it's being done for me. Like I said, this is all kind of like a gift for me, kind of, because I was this great creator, God. And then, like I say, a couple presidents. Like I say, the Kennedy family thinks that they're more powerful than God. They think that they are America, that they built America, that this whole world runs because of the Kennedy family. Okay, they steal a bunch of stuff from the Irish, and they also basically make it look like the Irish did nothing. Like the Irish are just this pain in the butt that's been plaguing everyone. They make it look like the Germans are this pain in the butt that's been plaguing everyone. And anyway, it has to do with corruption. It has to do with World War I, World War II. It has to do with how they were going to kidnap and kill me and hold me hostage and basically demand whatever from the rest of the world, saying that they know where I am, they know who I am, and kill me. It also has to do with certain groups removing that key information of what my name is. It doesn't help, of course. You can't stop certain people, just like you can't stop other people from knowing who I am. I am the creator of humanity, and my name is Lucifer. I was a creator before I picked my name. I was Arion or Anon, I think, or something like that. It's another name I picked. I picked a couple names, okay? I've been known as a couple different things. I had a whole bunch of groups working underneath me. It has to do with the fact that I'm the real creator. So, anyway, Bush knows about the oil thing. Nixon making all kinds of money on the oil pipeline, because the Alaskan oil pipeline is a 3 or 4 stage project. There is they did all 3. They did the one out to the coast. They did the one for the American government, because I was like, well, I'm going to need fuel for my airplanes and stuff, because I'm going to be providing food and all that other stuff. They decided to start doing a war out of it. I need, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. Okay. So Nixon knows, okay, so America can't print enough money at one point in time. We cannot print enough money. So there's billions of dollars being printed, and Nixon and a couple others are trying to write it to the top, in my footsteps, basically. So, like I say, there's a lot of groups that were supposed to be paid a lot of money, a lot of welders that were supposed to be paid a lot of money with the Alaskan pipeline, but they didn't get paid. They worked really hard, and they were supposed to get more money, but they didn't get paid. That money went to the Union or went to Nixon. It has to do with HAFA. It has to do with a lot of things, huge amounts of money being in a bank account, and it just is gone. Disappears. Who knows where. So, it has to do with a lot of people, a lot of other rich people being put inside insane asylums and removed and killed, and just this thing that people could lie, so they did lie. Certain people. People like Rodney, people like my neighbor, people that would consider themselves religious. Turns out they didn't give a fuck. They didn't care about God. They realized that God was just an old life form and in the past or something like that. But I wasn't quite in the past, because I was still a great inventor. And I still had, the love of my people. So it's very complicated, and it has to do with all these different elements and everything to do with my life, and how certain people knew that I was the creator of humanity, and they did this thing. So, and this thing included giving me a lobotomy and killing me and putting me in a hospital in a coma for some amount of time. So, it also has to do with the rape and killing and just shooting of millions of workers and millions of people. After they teach them, after they raise them, after they have them work and build the roads, they just kill them. They were doing it to the black people first. Black slaves. They'd build a road or something, and then when they were done working, they'd just shoot them. They did the same things to other people too. As soon as they were done building, why pay them? That's why we started paying every day, because if they owed them too much money, they would just shoot them instead. So it has to do with the past. It has to do with greed. It has to do with people just like, why? Less mouths to feed. Now my children get to live, and not yours. It has to do with that. Certain people, I'm not saying I would actually do that. I wouldn't do that. But certain people did. It wasn't the gypsies. The gypsies were fair and kind and loving people, and they actually created the financial system. And it has to do with all these other groups that were just living and just surviving. And it has to do with some other groups that came in later that just realized that they could do this technology, this thing, where they could kill lots of people and do this whole media blackout. And they tried to do it. And it has to do with that. So, and that's why Nixon was scared. That's why a lot of people were scared, because, like I say, I am the creator of 9 other races, and it goes into exterminating other planets in the way just in the future, possibly. So what they tried to do is really bad.